Welcome to Writers Anonymous YouTube channel. Writers Anonymous presents Even Stranger Stories. Episode 12. 2 Reasons for Leaving.
To whom it may concern, I couldn't believe the day I met my second wife. If only I'd met her first, my world would have been a much better place. All the guilt and sadness I'd carried around for so many years evaporated, and the world had that golden glow once again. Happy to wake, happy to sleep, happy to go to work, happy to leave. My life, my entire situation was a revelation. How could I have suffered what I'd been through and believed my world had been perfect? It seems insanity now. The perfect life has a downside though. When it ends, the dismal spiral into the abyss is swift and permanent. That day is etched into my mind. I was at home. My wife was on her way and decided to pick up some essentials from Sainsbury's. Essentials for me, a few cans. As she crossed the road, a Land Rover mowed her down. They'd jumped the lights. But to make sure she couldn't be identified, they stopped, then reversed, and ran her over again. And again and again. Until she was pulp. 2 reasons to leave. You now know the first reason. I'd worked in IT all my life and had a skill set I'd never thought I would use outside of work. It didn't take long to download the CCTV of my wife's murder, nor that long to get the DVLC computer system to cough up the info I needed. No matter how I abhor violence, I now know there's a place for it. I sneaked into this drunken bitch's kitchen. She was going to understand, fully, the consequences of her actions. I picked up the bread knife, saw a meat mallet and took that as well. When I got to the top of the stairs we met. She'd just left the loo. I was surprised how little effort it took to cave her head in. Although messy, I finished tenderizing every last inch of her. This was the second reason for leaving. The bread knife was sharp and painless. It has worked well on my neck. Goodbye.
Throughout human life, kitchen utensils tend to play a significant part, sometimes for their purpose, but other times not for such a joyous occasion. Buffet.
Will that be all, sir? The strange little waiter stood a few feet from my table, a tea towel over his arm and a smile which didn't seem to reach his eyes. I would just like to order a suite, please. Can I see the menu again? With a slight nod of the head, he turned and walked briskly to the bar where he collected the menu and brought it over to me. Did you enjoy the main course, sir? Was the meat cooked to your liking? I leant back in my chair. Yes, it was exquisite. Give my compliments to the chef. He has excelled himself. His eyes lit up at my response. Well, thank you, sir. I will ensure he gets your gratitude. He will be pleased. At that he turned tail and made his way to the kitchen, a notable spring in his step. The food at this new restaurant had indeed been good today, my first visit. It had been a fast food chain restaurant before, which to me were poor excuses for quality fare. This place was what an eating experience should be. My only gripe was the creepy waiter, but his table service had been great, so it was a minor problem. I had only been studying the menu for a minute or so when the waiter reappeared, almost running to my table. Sir, the chef is so happy with your complimentary words that he would like to show you his kitchen and how he prepared your dish. I was taken aback by this unusual request, unsure how to respond. I know this is out of the ordinary, but our chef is very proud of his work and delights in sharing his secrets. I thought about it for a moment, finally being swayed by the fact that it could mean a discount on this or my next meal. I would definitely be back, or so I thought. I headed towards the swinging doors to the kitchen, the little waiter keeping pace breathlessly behind me. I didn't notice the other diners watching me closely as they eyed up their own special main course.
Everyone experiences it, the feeling as if being watched, but some don't notice it when they really need to. Fly spy.
Well, Brian, this is it. The great British public have spoken. Following our survey, they have voted to raise the mortality rate of. Michael Brett paused for effect before saying, flies. Flies. Home Secretary Brian Marks screeched, incredulously. Are you serious? Absolutely, sir. Then, seeing his boss's face turn puce, he asked, Are you okay? Brian clutched his chest as a searing pain shot through him. Surely, this wasn't right. I need air, he gasped, then staggered out of the boardroom to the amazement of his colleague. Once outside in the fresh morning air, Brian felt himself calming down and his heartbeat returned to normal. He knew exactly who he had to call. Seeing the red phone flash on his desk, Prime Minister Bill Collins knew something important was afoot. Only a handful of his trusted staff knew that number. He reached across and picked up the receiver. Go ahead, was all he said. Brian still felt a little breathless. They want to eliminate the flies, Bill. All of them. You have to stop them now. Bill listened to his colleague's plea and knew he spoke the truth. His thoughts switched to the latest governmental project. Operation Fly Spy had been hugely successful in identifying the bad eggs in government. Initially Brian's idea, Bill had agreed to the injecting of fly larvae with minuscule chips, each its own audio recorder. The adult flies, in their thousands, had been released throughout the offices of MPs in Westminster, and hundreds of recordings had, so far, been sent to his personal computer for analysis. The results were damning, and Bill was on the brink of what promised to be the largest shake-up government had ever known. He hadn't anticipated the flies multiplying and could see why the public had voted as they had. He returned to the phone. Leave it with me, Brian. I'll take care of it. Relieved, Brian returned to his office as a rather flustered Michael Brett was putting down the phone. All change, boss. By order of the Prime Minister, we're going with the public's second choice. Traffic wardens.